I'm the only one on the stage that said we should not go into Iraq.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
I'm very pro-life.
I'm very pro-choice.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
I am pro-choice in every respect.
She has no natural talent to be president.
She's very talented, and she has a husband that I also like very much.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Hillary Clinton, how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else.
Let's say Hillary is president.
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job, and I like her.
I will build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay?
Listen, you motherfuckers, we can tax you 25%.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them.
Political bullshit.
You're not gonna raise that fucking price, you understand?
Although in this video you can see a real extreme example of a person contradicting himself in this case, and you're probably not likely to meet another person that does it that often. In general, analyzing contradictions is very important in qualitative research. It gives you plenty of insights into the person's perspectives and beliefs. So quite often when you analyze the contradictions, you can see what they really think, what kind of knowledge they are trying to hide from you, so to speak. Quite often it's an example of a person saving face around you. So saving face is a concept that basically refers to our desire, our actions related to desire to be perceived in a specific way. So desire to project a certain identity, social identity, for example. So what it means is that everybody has some kind of desired identity, the way you would like to be perceived by other people. So if you find yourself in a situation that threatens that way you want to be perceived, you are likely to adopt certain strategies evident in your actions or in your speech. The purpose of which is to save face, so to avoid that negative categorization, for example, to avoid that perception of whatever it is that you don't want to be perceived as. This is saving face, and quite often contradictions are the evidence of saving face. So, for example, in my study of Polish migrants' identity, I analyzed contradictions, and I came to this conclusion with some participants that they were attempting to save face, and this was evident both in the content of what they told me and also in something that I will discuss in a second, so beyond the surface level. So firstly, they quite often described situations from their migration experience, because they were all migrants, in which they saved face. They didn't call it as such, of course, but they, for example, described situations when they avoided communicative encounters because they were worried that they would be perceived as stupid people or uneducated people, because they were afraid, they were concerned with their level of English. So they would rather avoid that situation so that they didn't have to speak. So this was their one of their attempts of saving face. But most importantly, what I also found, as I said before, that saving face also took place beyond that surface level. So I realized that the stories they tell me, the way they tell me these stories, sometimes the choice of what they tell me, what kind of beliefs they are trying to project during our encounter, during our conversation, I realized that this is also their attempt to save face around me, so to project certain type of identity, to make me perceive them as they want to be perceived. So this is also important with regard to qualitative research, because quite often you go beyond that surface level. So you not only analyze what the participants tell you, so not only the content of the actual interview, for example, but you go beyond that and you start to interpret the data and you start to wonder what it means, why are they telling me that, and you begin to connect different elements of the collected data, and then you begin to theorize and interpret this to develop a kind of abstract and more inclusive and higher, more theoretical categories. So, and saving phase, my example of this theme is exactly what I mean by going beyond that surface level. So by analyzing contradictions, when somebody tells you something and then they say something that is contradicting to what they said before, it's very important. It's very important to think why they are contradicting themselves, what are they trying to hide from you, what kind of beliefs perhaps they don't want you to hold about themselves. And this kind of questions. It's always very interesting to pay attention to these contradictions. Sometimes you, as an interviewer or a focus group moderator, you should be very responsive to that. So if you notice these contradictions, you should try to sort of dig deeper and think about other questions that would explore this topic. So rather than telling them that they are contradicting themselves, you should find a way to extract that knowledge from them and see what they really think.